All right, let's do some review of what we learned this week. All right, so mostly we started learning JavaScript. So let's do a little bit some of the basics. I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call it example.js. All right, so this .js is called a file extension. Okay, so you guys have seen other kinds of files, .html files, .txt files, .doc files. Okay, that dot and then the letters that come after it are called the file extension. All right, so any file with a file extension of JS is going to be a JavaScript file. And inside this file, we can go ahead and write our JavaScript. I'm also going to go ahead and close these tabs and open up our terminal and turn it to a command prompt. Alrighty, so let's review some of the things we've learned this week. Alright, so all programming languages have variables. Basically, variables hold information that might change. And so it could be anything. It could be a person's name. It could be how many dogs do they own, the number of stars in the universe, whatever number or string or idea. Okay, we have variables that can hold that information so we can do something with it. So, for example, to make a variable in JavaScript, there's like three ways to do it. Okay, first is the var keyword. So var first name equals Jonathan, semicolon. Okay, here's what's going on with this. Var lets the computer know, hey, I'm about to make a variable. Okay, this in the light blue is the actual variable. This is the bucket that's going to hold information. So when I say variable, this is what I'm talking about. So the name of this variable is first name. It is case sensitive, so first name with a capital N is different than first name with a lowercase n. This variable and this variable are two different variables. It's case sensitive. Okay, the value of the variable is Jonathan. Okay, what value does it hold? Value of this variable is Jonathan. Okay, this variable is a string. This variable's type is string. Okay, so I'm going to start using some more, vocabulary. Okay, that's more akin to, may sound like computer sciencey, but we need to learn it. Okay, so this is a variable. The name of the variable is first name. The value it holds is Jonathan, which is a string. Okay, a string is denoted by these two quotation marks, and inside the string you can have letters and numbers. So let's do another string. Name of the variable is another string, and you can put numbers in here, and you can put letters and symbols. Okay, so a string, okay, is denoted by these two quotation marks, and then you put something inside of it. All right, so we have var to basically denote a variable. I prefer you use let. Okay, let does very much the same thing, and we're going to learn later the difference between var and let. Okay, but let's a bit better to use, a little cleaner. Okay, it does the same thing. We're basically telling the computer, okay, cool, I'm about to make a variable. What's the name of your variable? Last name. What type is your variable? It's a string. Okay, and what's the value of the variable? Hop. Okay, so these are like vocabulary words you need to know because people are going to be using them. Okay, all right, so last one is const, C-O-N-S-T. So for example, I don't know, const, what would be something that would be very constant? Square footage is equal to 1500. Okay, a variable with the const keyword, this word right here, cannot change. So these two can change. So for example, I could change first name to Bob. And that's perfectly fine. The original value was Jonathan, and then I changed it to Bob. Okay, same thing with last name. Last name, I could set to whatever I want now. It could be Yates. Okay, we can change the value of the variable after we've declared the variable. Like declaring the variable means setting it up. So we declare the variable, and then after that, if you need to change it, you can just go ahead and change it. So I'm going to do some console logs to kind of show you what's going on. I'm going to do console.log first name. That will put whatever the value of first name, it will log it to the console. I'm going to do the same thing after I change it. Okay, so here on line 6, first name's value is Jonathan. It should log out Jonathan. On line 10, we've changed first name to Bob. The value is now Bob, not Jonathan. So on line 12, it should console log out Bob. So in order to run this file, I'm going to head over to the folder where it's in, Unit 3, Week 3, Day 3. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's saved, Control S. I'm going to do node, and the name of the file is example.js. All right, and as you can see, this was expected. The value of first name was Jonathan, and then we change it to Bob. And it console logged the change, so everything's hunky-dory. So with regular variables, you can go ahead and change the value to whatever you want. The difference here is for const, you can't change it. Once square footage is set, that's it. It's 1500 for all eternity. So if I go square footage equals 1000, okay, I'm going to run into an error if I try to run this JavaScript file. So I'm going to do node example.js again, and I get an error. Assignment to constant variable is the type error. So sorry, let me go back down. So it says assignment to constant variable. Okay, so JavaScript will let you know that if it encountered an error, it'll also let you know what kind of error it was, and you need to read it. Okay, type error will let you know, hey, what type of error was it? It was an assignment to constant variable error, meaning you can't, on line 14, you cannot do this. JavaScript does not allow this to happen. Your program will stop running once it hits this error. Okay, so these are the three kinds of variable declarations, var, let, and const. Okay, we're going to use let. Okay, we're going to try to steer away from var, and we're going to mostly use let. I will not dock if you use var. People use var all the time in the real world. All right, that's it for variable declarations. Just remember that, again, you can reset the value of a variable. It doesn't have to be the same type, but we'll talk about that in the next video.